All right, I think we're live. How's everybody doing today, chat? Market is just all-time highs. That is the theme of today. But basically, there's really not much as far as right now at the open or 30 minutes before the open that we could do on NQ except literally buy it at the highest price it's ever been. Having some stream issues. 1 second. Hold on, chat. All right, we should be good. Should be good to roll. Rock and roll here. All right, so got some gifts to give away today. Some pretty big shit. Especially if you're new to the trading space, you're gonna love it. But as far as the market today, I need a pullback to buy this thing. I can't just buy it right here. This is the highest it's ever been. If we look at NASDAQ, if you were on the stream yesterday, I told you it was going all-time highs. And we for sure cleared that. But I also mentioned the next area where this market wanted to go. And that was on one of these other charts here. Up into like 22,600. So I think that's where the market wants to head today. I think we do have some JPOW news potentially. Let's see. Yeah, 10 a.m. Powell, some more news. So we could expect some volatility throughout the day. I don't use any broker on TradingView itself. I just use it for charting. Broker I use is NinjaTrader. How long is this code valid for? It's always good. Code JPelly at Apex is always good, and you'll get the highest discount that they offer. I think right now it is 70% off. The 80% was expired yesterday. So as far as the game plan today, I'm using this area right here for a pullback, right? This is part of my system, part of my model. I can't just buy it right here. Where's my stop going to be? It's going to be freaking all the way down here. That's like a 200 point stop. Can't be doing that. So what I need is this market to slide down a little bit, come into this area like 22,355, and then from there, see if it bounces and we could ride it back up. Because I do have a higher target back up into like 22,600. So that is where I think the market is headed. It could go without me 100%. I won't be able to get into it if this thing just keeps freaking ripping. If we don't get the full pullback to like 350 on NQ, then we could use this shorter time frame VWAP and try and get long somewhere around here, which is like 22,470-ish. That could be a spot where, you know, it's a decent enough pullback. You take out some of these stops right here, and then buyers kind of step back in and drive this thing back up. So that's pretty much the game plan. I don't see any short opportunities. You're trying to short the all-time high. It's hard to keep, you know, taking stabs at it when it's just ripping in your face. So not something I love to do personally. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wait for these stops to get ran. See if we get something near 22,472. Get long, ride the shit, and make some money. So how do you choose which stock to trade? Do you mostly trade on NQ? I mostly trade on NQ or S&P. So they move pretty much the same. But yeah, I'll like flip through NQ and S&P. Trade the same shit every day. And then if there's no opportunity, like today's kind of one of those days where there's, you know, not the best opportunity on the stock indexes, well then maybe we got to look at something else like, you know, gold or something like that. Let me see my layout. So we have gold on here too. So these are all preloaded to have the same exact setup. Gold is actually taking a bit of a pullback after all that war stuff is over. Whenever there's a war, gold runs up a lot. So you saw that last week, week before. Went up into 34.75, and now that it's all said and done, pretty much, you see this thing starting to pull back and come back down to earth. But I don't trade gold too much. I did submit a payout last night on one of these accounts. Right here, the one that's up 41.28. Wasn't able to submit all of them because some of them aren't at the threshold yet. Because there was one day where I made like $1,200 on all the accounts, and you need to keep your consistency under 30%. So right now they're close to that number. Once I get them over, I will submit a payout on all of these. But about $49,000 profit this month on a total of 14 accounts, trading 5 micros. I don't trade anything more than 5 micros on these accounts. 5 micros, 20-point stops. And then as far as the take profit, I'll look for anywhere from 20 to 40 points. Yesterday we got 50 points, which is nice. So another tip, when the market just runs up all night, like you could see overnight, what are we up? We're not up too crazy, but you could see from yesterday's close until now, where's the market? Way above. So coming into the open, usually you see some kind of pullback. So that's what I'm going to wait for around 9:30, 9:40, see where they pull it back to. And if it holds this area that's drawn up, then we'll try a stab at a long. Try a little stab at a long, why not? So it's like somewhere around here is where we would bid this market. And then obviously like the great trend continuation, you know, you get a good pullback, take out some of the late longs. That's around here, like 300s-ish. I just put a poll in the chat. Go vote. Where you guys think the market's headed today? Are we going to go higher and go up into my 600 target? Or is this thing going to pull back today and we see NQ go red on the day if it goes down 85 points? Morning, Lena. One second, I'm going to post this in the chat. Running low on my Dunkin', man. Already? She. Morning, Gary. Morning, Lena. Morning, Lee Dortz. Amelia. Thank you guys for showing up this morning. What up, Josh? Is that a paid VWAP indicator? No, this is a free VWAP indicator. All you gotta do is go to indicators on TradingView, VWAP, and then I have these settings. So it's not like your normal VWAP. Your normal VWAP has just this one red line in the middle, right? So mine, you can see, looks a little different. Gives me these balance areas outside of the VWAP. So these are standard deviations. There's one standard deviation is this first white line, and then this second one up top is the second standard deviation. Basically, the market doesn't go over that second standard deviation too much unless there's, an extreme move like you saw here this morning. But typically the market will come back to life, start trading back under this +2 area, and then pull back a little bit and then start to run back up. So yeah, it's a free indicator. You could just get it on the trading view. Morning. Would you rather trade 6K of your own money or use prop firms with that little capital? Sheesh. Good question. I mean, I would personally use that capital to leverage it on prop firms, just because you could make a lot more than, let's say, you make 10% on your 6K. Okay, you're making $600. What are you really going to do with that? But if you spend it wisely and leverage a bunch of different accounts on a bunch of different prop firms, well, you could leverage that 6K a lot better. Me personally, I would do the prop firms if I had that little capital to put in my first account. Morning, what up, chat? Bahumi, I use Replicanto as the trade copier. Replicanto, and it copies all my trades on my Apex accounts. And I execute on NinjaTrader. Pass multiple Apex accounts but can never get a payout. Yeah, passing is the easy part. Literally, I just try and pass them in one trade. But yeah, on these specific Apex accounts, we can look into my stats here. Where do we see? Just go into trades, right? Go into trades, 100 per page. You can see these are my average gains. So this is all 20 accounts imported into here. So you'll see on this trade, made 350. My losses are always around 200. Sometimes I don't get my full take profit, so I'll make a little less than 200. 160. That one I cut a little early. $300 there. See, all my losses are around 200. So that's about 20 points with 5 micros. And then you see some days the market gives you more. It's all about getting the reps in. All about getting the reps in. And then boom, look at that. Out of nowhere, you get a big fat day. And that makes up for a lot of the P&L. But you ain't going to make it there if you over leverage, use too many contracts, and end up blowing your shit in one freaking trade. Okay? So you got to keep the losses minimal when you get to the PA stage. Where are the cornrows you promised? Sorry. The cornrow lady wasn't available. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't even text her. I forgot about the cornrows. I had some shit going on yesterday. But yeah, look, 42% win rate. You're probably like, this guy fucking sucks. Well, look at the P&L. How is this possible? Exactly how I told you. Keeping those losses tight and not revenge trading. Like, if I take 2 losses in a row on these PAs, I'm just closing it out for the day. Come back the next day, and that's it. Because once you start trading and you start losing more than 400, 500, and you're not past that buffer yet, shit gets hard to draw back out of. All right. We got about 10 minutes till the open. What I'm expecting, since this thing ran up overnight again, if you look at yesterday's close, previous close was down here at 22406. We're about 100 points above that. So I do expect right at the open, usually when the market's very one-sided overnight, right at the open, you'll get a little bit of a pullback, right? So if the market was all the way down overnight, what do I think is going to happen at the open? Well, some shorts are going to cover and the market's going to bounce a little bit. Doesn't mean you get a huge move, but we'll see what we get here at the open. Do you think it's worth to track the trade with trailing stop or keep it to TP? I think trail, because you don't want to give back a lot of the gains, because then you get, if you use an Apex that goes by unrealized drawdown. So if you're giving back a lot of the gains and you never close the trade, you're going to be in drawdown, which sucks until you get, with the 50K accounts, I think it's until you get above $2,600, then that goes away. Yeah, if you're trading NASDAQ 35, 40 points TP, you should be good. If you got the entry right, you shouldn't have to trail those. Like yesterday, if I trailed my trade, this is what we took yesterday. If I trailed this trade yesterday, I would have gotten taken out like 3 minutes later, and then this thing ripped right to the target. That was a 50-point TP. So, yeah, this should be back here because I closed it right there. Once we hit the overnight high, that was the play. So yeah, it's hard to say if you should trail or not. But if you're going to 35, 40 point TPs, I don't think you need to necessarily. Jay, can't seem to log into the options course I bought a few years back. All right, send me a DM and I'll figure that out after this. Yeah, I mean, I don't really love to trail, to be honest, because of that reason. The market doesn't just go straight up. tries to fuck around and get you out of your trade. So unless, you know, you're up like significant amount of points, I don't really love the idea of a trailer. $33 votes. 85% of you say the market is headed higher today. Do you trade ES or only NQ? I trade both. We could open up S&P here. I'm pretty sure for these accounts I've only traded NQ though. But yes, I do like to see what's going on ES. Typically I'll just execute on NQ though. How do I get this highlight away? There we go. So same deal with ES. Bullish above this area here. Looks very far away if you look on the right side because this is the shorter time frame chart. On the left I have a 30-minute. But I do think at some point, don't know when, nobody knows when anything's going to happen in this market. At some point, we'll come back to like 61.30. 61.30, and then that's where I would look for more buys there. Yeah, it looks so bullish. I mean, we're at all-time highs. How else is it going to look? At all-time highs. The market gets a little hard to trade at all-time highs, not going to lie. Like when I woke up this morning and saw that this thing ran up even more and made new highs, I was like, ah, shit. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. All right. Yeah, that's cool, Bahumi. Grazie. Learning Italian. What do you guys know about that? Any Italians in here? I've been with you since the balance boss Forex days. Let's go. Yeah, so I do have a gift for everybody here before we end the stream. Colombian. I think the market DNA says 19%, but no speaking Italian. All right, at least you got something. A fifth Italian, I'll take it. I'm 100% though. Do you think the market can go back to April levels? Let's see, where was April? Go back to the, use a higher time frame chart here. So back in April, we were at what? Oh, this was the tariff dip, right? When everybody was shitting themselves. Could we go back there? Sure, why not? When? I have no idea. I'm more of a short-term trader. I want to know what's going on today and tomorrow, not really where it's going to be in a couple months. But yeah, at some point the market will probably go back down to April lows. Why that happens, when that happens, yo no sé. Pretty sure that was because of the tariff thing, right? It's funny how the market goes. Okay. Market about to open up here, so let's see what we get. Like I said, first order of business, I think we pull back a little bit. How far we're going to pull back in this strong market, that's what we don't really know. But I'll try and get something around like 477 is where I would want to bid. When I say bid is where I would want to buy this market. What up, Tyler? Your favorite time frame. So here, I mean, I use multiple time frames, right? Here you just see a simplified version of my strategy. 30-minute and, yeah, no pullback. 30-minute and then on the right, a 3-minute. But if I go to my Ninja Trader, you can see on here I have monthly VWAPs. So top right, this is a monthly VWAP. You see the same indicator, just on a higher time frame. Okay, so this is where I'll start my day, on this higher time frame, see where the hell the market's at. Obviously, if you're looking at it, the market is all the way up here. Like, there's no entry for me up here. And then if we go down to the next one, this is the same thing, 30-minute VWAP. This is a weekly VWAP. So those are my two higher time frame charts. And then I'll have this volume profile chart down here, which basically just lets me identify these balance areas. Like when the market's going sideways, that's a balance area for me, and that's where I put these rectangles, because the market moves from balance and then it starts going trending, which we call imbalanced, and then the target when it's trending is a prior balance area. So yesterday on the stream, I was like, all right, this market's going to 22,400. That was the lower end of this balance zone. Okay, so now that we're inside this area, we're accepting inside of this previous balance area, I'm expecting this thing to go to 22,669, which is the upper end of this zone back from February. I think I just froze my Ninja. Or maybe it's just that chart. Anywho. Oh, God. Powell, yeah. You got some J Powell. Yeah, that was the best pullback they gave us. Freaking 5 points at the open. Kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Christ. So yeah, I mean, this thing, I have nothing to do right now at the moment. What it do, Rafi? You only take the first breakout that happens outside of balance. No. interesting here. S&P flew up into 6160, instantly pulled back. NQ barely pulled back. Just got to wait it out at this point. Is anybody long already? From like overnight session or something? Flying. What did they say? Target was 669. That's another 150 points ish. Just leave that there on the chart. We need a pullback. No pullback for you. XOM puts have worked the last few days. ExxonMobil. Oof. Oh yeah, they definitely worked. Oh yeah. How long did it take you to become profitable? And have you ever thought about in-person mentorship? I don't know. I haven't really thought about that, but let's just say I've been learning about the markets and trading the markets for over 10 years. So it took me longer than most. Some people get the hang of it after a couple of years. Me, it was just like a constant spiral of making money and then blowing it all up. Like, I can't tell you how many accounts I've taken from like 25K to 150K and then back to fucking $5,000. So that's how a lot of the years went. But nowadays I'm not too aggressive like that. So I could take things much slower, and it's a lot, I don't want to say easier, but yeah. If you're in Miami, I would love that. Yeah, I've never done an in-person training thing. Blew a funded account in 2022, and since that got discouraged. But now I'm getting back to it. Good for you. I mean, hey, you're one good trade away. This friggin' thing doesn't want to pull back. Chat, this is fucked. Order flow is friggin' cooking. So it did pull back to like our level, our value area high, as I call it. But it was just right at the open, barely a pullback. So, you know, I don't really love it, or I didn't really love it. Yeah, that chart is frozen. So yeah, those are the kind of trades that I teach. Same exact shit happened yesterday. If you look at this, these are the pullbacks that I look for, right? I like when the market goes up, and then let me get at this tool real quick, and then comes back down towards this value area high, the upper end of this blue zone. When that happens and you see the market start to turn, that's where I like getting in. And if you got in here with a stop right below that previous swing low, you would have held this shit for 360, about 60 points right there. Been following you since 2016 when you made vlogs with your GF. Really? My man. Damn. That's crazy. You're an OG. Dude, this thing is just gonna fly on us, huh? These little baby pullbacks, they're the worst. Here comes new highs. 669. It's going to make its way there, but eventually we're going to get a good pullback. Like these pullbacks that we've seen so far are just not it. Like maybe 512 is the best we're going to get. Come on, baby. Let's get a pullback here. What's the name of your indicator? It's a VWAP. Cold War. I remember that name. I've seen you around. Just a VWAP. So if you go to indicators, type in VWAP. VWAP, volume weighted average price. And then I have some custom settings on it. So for this one on the right, I'm rocking with a session VWAP. That just means every session at 6 p.m. a new VWAP is developed. Okay. So how you do that is you go here to your settings, you click anchor period session, and then style. You got to add all these. So check these boxes, right? So if I uncheck them, you can see all those bands, they start to disappear. And now I'm left fucked. So you got to click them all. And then bands fill. So that's the blue area. See it flickering? And then on the left, I have it at those same bands, but the anchor period's different. So on the anchor period, I put it to week. So this is my higher time frame value areas. And then I use them in conjunction. So why am I bullish today, yesterday? Well, it's because price is mooning above this value area, above this blue shaded area. So when it's doing that, the market's trending. So I want to be looking on my shorter time frame chart for areas on how I could get into that trend. And right now, it doesn't look like the cleanest ways to get involved in this trend. We're at all-time highs. We're getting these little weenie pullbacks, and yeah, just not my favorite setup. So yeah, basically these VWAPs with those custom settings, they help me follow along with the trend. They help me hold my trades. And I'm going to give you all a course on exactly how to use this. It's totally for free. I'll show you how to get it before I hop off the stream. All right, so now sellers are looking to pop in. We're at our area of where I wanted this thing to pull back to value area high. So we'll see if this starts to hold here. Potentially get on board and ride it up. But it could want deeper. A little deeper. Where's S&P doing? Yeah, S&P, I think it wants to take out these stops here at 6150. We'll see what happens there. NQ, there's some stops here at 495 and then down here at 480. S&P is about to take those stops right now. Yep, liquidation there. All right, we're getting some action now. Sellers definitely popping in up here. NQ took those stops at 490. 480, I think it should run down there pretty quick. Although we are holding the open, we did take some stops. S&P is now at the middle of the range, so don't like that entry on the S&P. So now that we're back into balance on the shorter time frame, that long idea kind of gets voided at the moment because I'd expect this thing to go back to the other side around 420 now. Let's see if that was it, though. Good amount of selling right there on the tape. So things could be shifting. This could run to 420 pretty quick. Or drop to 420 pretty quick, I should say. S&P a little bounce, NQ a little bounce. Is that about 483? Let's Try this out. That was a horrible fill. I'm seeing buyers step in a little bit here. Did take some stops. This market is still fairly bullish. Lagging a little bit. P&L is not really reflecting where price is. A little ninja trader lag. What is this? What is this? Yeah, tried a little stab long with a 20-point stop to see if this thing returns back to high of the day and then up into our 600 target. I like taking my first trade of the day on an eval, so that's what this is right now. And then if the market keeps going in my favor and headed towards my target, then I jump in on the PAs. That's how I've saved my ass so many times from being in the hole early. You have no idea. So that's a pro tip. I don't think anybody else will tell you. Don't be scared to trade the evals. They save your ass. Yeah, my ninja is like a little delayed right now. Hold on. Let me disconnect and then reconnect. Doesn't matter that I have these active orders on the eval. There we go. So yeah, we'll see if this thing rips up into the 540s, potentially 573 after pulling back a little bit. Should get a nice rip pretty fast if it wants to do that. Bam. Just go get those highs, 548 and then 573. Yeah, Powell at 10 a.m. could mess things up a little bit. I think we're good though. Go with this momentum here. Sometimes the pullbacks go a little deeper than you like as far as following my system and buying at the top end of the range. That's just where more experience watching these types of things comes into hand. Or comes in handy, I should say. See if we get a push up into 573. If not, I'll be looking to buy this lower. If Powell comes in, this market shakes out a bit, and we rip down into 530 or 430, I say. Just getting a little sideways up here now. Trail this thing up a little bit. Come on, Jake Powell, send us to the moon. Probably going to get some sporadic type of move once he starts his speeches. It's like some kind of wick. Whether it's good or bad for us, who knows? Sellers stepping in again here. This one looks a little cooked, chat. Made a new low on the delta, but price hasn't really caught up to that yet. So let's just give it a second. Taken out on that one. Some news popping in over here. Trump, we think the Iran-Israel war is over. U.S. home sales, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. You guys like these screens better or this one? So yeah, on that trade, I was just going with the momentum, seeing if we were going to pop into new highs. We got a pullback and ran some stops. Just a tad. I mean, we weren't late. We got the move, but it didn't end up continuing. Trading view is better, right? Trump, we think the war is over. Yeah, just in a bad area as far as an entry right now for longs. If you're on the short side, you're chilling. You could probably put your stop at 530. I was going with the momentum to see how high this bitch was going to go today. Should run these stops again down here, 480. If we start holding, candles start closing under the open, then this thing will probably get that bigger pullback towards our higher time frame area, 360. And that's where I would look to buy this shit again. For now, just let it roll. Let it roll over. Anyone else screen black? Screen's black? I don't think it's black. Got sellers trying to press this down, but price is not really moving yet. Little tug of war at the opening price. Where can I open my Apex account? You could go, there's a link in the description. Should be a link there, or I'll just post it. A little bit of a bounce off the opening price, but it's a little choppy now. A little choppy woppy. Like I said, now that we're back into balance, this should get to the other side. If it doesn't and we start trading back above balance again, then I'll look for more longs. But at this point, I think we're headed towards 22,433. Not the best entry. I don't like getting in near point of control VWAP, but see if this works with a target down here at 433. Entries like 499. Take a little bit off at 480 if it gets down there. $480 would be the first stop, and then 440 is where I'd take off the rest and then look to flip long. Sellers are really hammering this down. If you look at the bottom here, hold on, my face is in the way. If you look at the bottom here, sellers are really driving this thing. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna take some off. Took off my initial two. Set a bid there for 433. Let's go. Four, 3, baby. Might as well dump here. ES looking a little stronger on shorts. Where's ES? Yeah. I mean, they still look like shit, honestly. Like, these candles are fucked. But ES target would be 61.47 and then 61.36. NQ kind of got to our zone that we marked out earlier, 477. Don't really like buying the VWAP though. So now that area is a little different in my eyes. It's not so much a bid zone. There we go. Come on down, Charlie Brown. Woof. Gonna take one more off there. See if we could ride the rest down to 430 and potentially lower. We got to our zone. $433 target. Let's see it. What's Powell saying? Anybody got eyes on Powell? Thing is dumping. Powell and Trump, both of them at the same time. Jesus. Jesus. How many points? 65 points until NQ goes flat or red on the day. Not going to give this too much more room. My entry was pretty bad. Still made money on it, but really want to get in closer to the upper end of the blue area. So like kind of where my stop is. It was just a little late to that one. A little late to the party. Bears news on financial juice. Yeah, I moved my stop a little bit. Break even though, my entry wasn't as good. So if I just moved it to break even there, I would have gotten fact. Value area low would be the target here. and then potentially to our higher time frame zone back here. $355-ish, so like another 100 points of a drop from here. Oh, shit. What did I just do? All right, there we go. Anybody else short? Who's short? Are we making the money right now or no? Right here, there's not really an entry. Right in the middle. So it's either you're holding your long trade from overnight where you got way lower, or you're holding the short like we are, and you're looking for 433 as a target. Now, the interesting thing here, though, is that we did come back to delta 0. And buyers are kind of holding this thing up, which has me a little cautious about the rest of this short. Because if buyers step in here, this thing could run back to highs pretty damn fucking fast. What up, Sam? Thanks for watching. So yeah, as far as the setup goes, this is a breakout failure. So it was a return back into balance trade. All these plays are mapped out in my course that I'm thinking about giving you guys for free. What do you think? Do you want it or not? Put a W in the chat if I should give it to you guys for free. And you guys could learn and be on the same page as me by tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow. It's like a couple hours of learning. I need to see W's. All right, all right. Right before I hop off, I'll send you guys the link. And we are printing some more schmeckles. I like to distract myself when I'm in a trade, so I don't really look at every little freaking candle. Another test of zero. Buyers are stepping back in. This could go bad for the rest of our short trade. Don't count it out yet, though, all right? Let it rock. Let it ride. Which side do you like better? Yeah, that's fine. See, buyer's starting to step in here. Let's see. Just like a subtle clue that I found on the tape. Subtle clue, if you will. Buyer's starting to press. Not too strong, though. Get above the open, then we could be in trouble. For now, it's all right. Drown. Drown the woman. Not like a good choppy Powell day, you know? Good old chop. Where will you put it? Yeah, when I'm in a trade and I'm holding like a swing, yeah, I'll hop on Call of Duty or something, FIFA. It's too choppy right now. There's nothing really to do anyway. either get taken out on the rest of this stop that I moved a little lower than my initial stop, or we just wait it out and get the dip. Just very, very, very choppy. It's like a battle in the middle of this zone. Now you guys know why I don't like to trade the middle. If you were on here yesterday, I told you this middle area next to the middle VWAP is just a no-go. I'd rather take some of this, right? If we get a pop, pullback, take that. Or if I have like a zone like this on the left, higher time frame, market starts coming into value area low, then I'll look to like pick a bottom in that case. If this one on the left, price is like under here. So if I just do Command I, if it flips under and it's like, looks like this instead and it's bearish, then okay, I'd look to, you know, get short somewhere around value area low for the move down. All right. All I did right there was Command I, and it just inversed everything. Did we get taken out yet? Nope. Close. No cigar. Yeah, these days are where a lot of people could get chopped. Chopped, magopped. You hear the bell sound? Oh, that's alerts going off on here. I don't know. It's just like a weird thing that I do when I see a level like overnight high. I'll just like immediately put an alert there. I don't even hear it because I have my volume off on the computer, but I'm glad you guys could hear it. So just like wiggling around the stop here. If we end up getting stopped, it'll be like break even on the day. I told you in the beginning of the stream that this is going to be a hard day because the market was already ripping overnight at all-time highs. And Powell talk. So you got to know when to press and when not to press. Today was one of those days, just fucking sit there and do a whole lot of nothing. Because look at this shit. It's just chopping around. Chopping around. Screwing people over left and right. But not if you're on the stream. So, all right, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for me. About an hour and a half stream. First trade was a loser. This trade ran about 499 to 465, about 30 points. So made some back on this. If we end up hitting TP lower, that'll be great. And we'll end up very green. But in this case, if we just tap into that stop right there, pretty much break even on the day. Let's see. Yeah, down like $100 right now. And there it should go. But anywho, I got a free gift for all you guys that are still here. It's a free 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 trading course and free group that I'm going to keep adding shit into. All right, so where do you find said group? I'm going to post it in the chat. So there's the free trading course and group. We'll do like live streams in there, Q&As. You'll get instant access right now to all the courses. There's one like intro, and then there's the bigger course. They're both in there. And then I'm going to show you guys how I scale to 20 of these Apex accounts, how I go about trading them, how I manage my risk on them, how I actually copy trade 20 of them at the same time. And yeah. And any other questions or topics you want me to go over, we could do that inside of there. So on that note, how am I going to manage the rest of this trade? I'm either going to let it hit stop or TP. All right, the thing tickled my stop, and now heading back down. Just wiggle us out already. But yeah, on that note, I'll see you guys inside the free group. I'll see you guys on the stream tomorrow. And anything you need help with, just hit me up in there. Love y'all. Catch you tomorrow. Trade safe. I plan on holding this. Either it takes me out of 509, and we're like a little break even on the day. Shitty day. Or this thing heads lower. We end up making it to like 440 and then 360. In other case, if that was just the pullback right there, this whole shindig was the pullback, then, you know, maybe we start getting involved on something like this up here. So look out for that later today. If we do end up breaking above balance and we start trading towards these highs again, then I would be inclined to go with the longs. For now, since we're inside of balance, just, you know, follow with the short, go towards that 430 target. And then if we get down into there, that's where we could start to pick a bottom, potentially around 360. Okay. So those are the two scenarios. Scenario one, start popping up, join the trend above balance. Scenario two, we just chop inside of balance. We move down to the 440 zone. And then scenario three is, all right, this thing starts breaking a little lower. We get our bigger pullback on the higher time frame down into 330. So those are the three scenarios I see happening for the rest of the day. Trade safe. Get in that group.